I've been ruminating on this topic for the past 24, 25-ish hours, depends on what time this goes up. I've been thinking about it a lot, right? Okay, because it involves just weak men on a high pedestal, and I can't stand that, okay? And I've just seen a dearth of analysis on this topic from different YouTube videos, different commentators coming forth, and you can just see the different minds at work, okay? Some people are talking specifically about the slap and how, oh, Will was standing up for his wife and how brave and stunning that was, to just full deep dive analysis into as to what presaged this event, okay? A frame by frame breakdown of the slap itself to figure out if it was a work or if it was a shoot or what the fuck was actually going on there. You love to see it. And the fact that most of the conversation, at least what I'm seeing, is kind of centering around the whole effects of the modern relationship, and the problem with the promulgation of the beta lifestyle is now being put into the public conscience. I really like that. I appreciate that, because for far too long, the whole idea of these feminized good men, oh, get yourself a good man out there and he'll solve all your problems. You want a stable man with a good income. That's what Will Smith is, okay? That's what he is. And the way that he lashes out like this with just an open outright assault, because that's what it is in California statute, okay? Knowingly committing an act of violence with the intent, or rather with the ability to cause significant injury. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's exactly what he did. Did he cause a significant injury? Did he maim Chris Rock? Did he kill Chris Rock? No. But a slap to the ear, okay, in certain circumstances, can lead to permanent disfigurement, can lead to a lingering injury. So yeah, by the letter of the law, it is an assault, okay? But Chris isn't pressing charges, and it's highly unlikely that outside of through the end of the week here, unfortunately this happened Sunday, so that could make the press cycle, or maybe thanks to the Academy, who, okay, again, were they in on this stuff? I would believe, okay, I would foster the idea that this was a work at some point or another, okay, that the writers who wrote the jokes for Chris Rock knew directly that they were trying to elicit some sort of a response out of Will Smith by attacking his queen. Maybe, perhaps, or maybe Chris was going rogue, but he didn't write those jokes. He was just the one who was saying it, and okay, they were just trying to get maybe the whole keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth, because it's really tough to keep guys out of my wife's mouth. It's like they were just hoping maybe for an emotional outburst so people would try to tune in for next year, or maybe you just get that social media buzz that's out there so you could just grow the numbers by the end of your fucking dwindling show. Whatever it was, okay? Was it an orchestrated attack or an orchestrated effort to drum up buzz? Maybe, kind of. Maybe years or months down the road we'll figure out that, yeah, okay, the joke was put there for a purpose in order to cause conflict. Sure, fine, whatever. More importantly, though, it was soy rage, beta rage provoked. And this was a dude who was a ticking time bomb and was always going to react like this, okay? Because you even remember just watching the clip, okay? Will was just kind of, he was making that long walk up there, and nobody really knew what was going on. That's why, security wasn't storming the stage or anything like that, because they just thought, okay, this was going to be an impromptu moment and it would just get people talking for a second. And that's why Chris didn't really do anything afterwards. And also, yeah, I've heard conversations that, everybody in this situation, Will, Chris, and Jada all acted incorrectly in this. And it's like, yeah, no, I would agree with all of that. Except for maybe Chris. It's like, so the most harsh criticism, it's like, what could have Chris done differently? Okay, not say the joke, because he knows that Jada was going to act a fool anyways, eliciting a response from Will that you would anticipate. You wouldn't anticipate him to come up on stage and give you a fucking cuff upside the head. Of course not. But why would you bother poking the bear? Because you know that's a volatile situation to begin with. I can understand that, okay, just wanting to step away from the situation before it even gets ignited. I can see that, okay? But then you take a look at this and you realize just a couple of days before, I don't give two shits, craps rather. Okay, at least that's one thing she likes to keep out of her mouth, any sort of vulgar language. What people feel about my bald head, I love it. So obviously, you know what? Hey, if we're supposed to believe that everybody knows about her alopecia, which is very pronounced, even though you can see her headline or her hairline right there, everybody's supposed to know about that, and that's a off-topic subject. You're not supposed to poke the bear on that one. Okay, fine. But then what's even more prominent, the fact that everybody knows that Will Smith is a cuck. Maybe Chris, maybe the writers for the joke thought that was fine, okay, because she said she didn't care about it, so okay, fine, fuck it, whatever, we'll just throw in that innocuous bald-headed woman joke. It's like, okay, like Chris said, and like I made mention to in yesterday's video, okay, because he says right at the end of that, after the entire altercation, he's like, I could have, and it's like, what, totally unloaded on his salvo? Like, before that, he said, dude, it's a G.I. Jane joke. I could have said, I hope your pussy's about as bald as her head, and he could have gone completely off, because at the end of the day, it's still Chris Rock, okay? He's probably, what, in... like, of all-time comedians, he's probably in the top 5. Okay, like, it's Carlin, it's Pryor, Bill Cosby when it comes to prominence, and then what, you put Chris? Like, if he's not right there, he's still probably top 10 at least. He's right up there. So he could absolutely drop the hammer at any time, but he didn't, okay? And like I said before and alluded to it before, it's like, okay, what were the other criticisms? Don't make the joke because you knew, or you had at least some sort of an inclination as to what was going to happen. But then again, if somebody's coming up on stage and he's making eye contact with you, which I would contest, it looked to me like he was, you know, Will was coming up on stage and he was just kind of looking down and a little bit to the right as he knew that, oh, fuck, I'm going to do something fucked up. Am I going to punch him? No, I'll just slap him because that's what a alpha male does. The criticism of Chris was, okay, cool, if somebody's charging you on stage, making a beeline towards you, which I will not deny, he was walking straight at him, you put your hands up in order to try to say, like, hey buddy, what's up? But again, I also understand, because he just kind of had his hands in his pockets, just trying to diffuse the situation, because you never think on national television, okay, in front of the biggest audience that's going to be watching TV at any given time throughout the entire year, with the exception of the Super Bowl, perhaps, you don't think you're gonna be assaulted, okay? That's the furthest thing from your mind. But should you always at all times think that there's that there is at least some inkling of an attack that could be happening? Yeah, of course, if you're defensive minded. If you haven't been living the life of luxury for the past 20, 30 years, where you've always had armed security guards around you, where you've never really had to have a one-on-one fight for a very long time, that you've become soft. Maybe that's not the first thing that comes to mind. Maybe if this was an altercation that happened back when Chris was 16, yeah, he'd have his hands up and he'd be just ready to square up or to at least try to diffuse the situation. So in case if he's seen that fucking slap that came from Will's hip across his face, maybe he'd be able to block it, or, you know what, hey, even in a cooler situation, he'd just be able to dodge it and then come forward with just an uppercut and then just fucking lay out Will Smith and then put his Best Actor Academy Award right on his chest. That would have been the coolest shit ever, but unfortunately, that's not what happened. What we ended up getting was, okay, of course, the slap heard round the world, which is just AIDS. Most people are going to forget it by the end of the week once it makes its news cycle, and hopefully this is probably going to be the last time I'm going to talk specifically about this altercation. I'm just more, as always, interested in breaking down the faults in the whole white knight culture. Anyways, I've been on my diatribe long enough. Let's get into some of the topics here, okay? Will Smith apologizes to Chris Rock after slapping him at Oscars. It was a real apology. Trust me, you're going to see some very deep thoughts here that definitely weren't written by a PR person. This came out just before I published my video yesterday, so forgive me if you guys have seen this already, but I want to go over this as well, okay? Actor Will Smith, pugilist, you should probably put that as well, has issued an apology to comedian Chris Rock after slapping him at the 94th Academy Awards ceremony, also referred to as the Oscars. Did you have a word count for this? Anyways, in a statement posted on Instagram, On March 28th, Smith wrote, "Violence in all forms is poisonous and destructive." Why did you immediately leap to it? My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable, and also poisonous and destructive. But we also seen the aftermath of that slap, which it's a real slap. Anybody trying to say that it was a worked slap, there's enough camera angles to support the fact that yes, it was a real slap. Oh, but it didn't have that big meat on meat slap. It's like, yeah, there was a thud, an audible thud. And those of you in the game, and those of you who watch combat sports, even professional wrestling, which is worked, of course, and they're trying to go for the big slap, but every once in a while somebody throws a chop and you hear a thud, and that's the palm of your hand making flesh contact with a bone, with something hard, okay? Or maybe Will didn't quite hit his intended target, okay? And maybe he just caught hands, or maybe he just caught fingers on face that led to that thud, just like that. There was a thud that happened, okay? It was a real fucking slap, which is embarrassing. Two 50-year-olds slapping each other on stage in fucking suits that they don't even own, but whatever, this is where we're at. Jokes at my expense are part of my job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. You acted like a fucking beta spurg, dude, okay? Medical condition, what is it, life-threatening? No, she just decides to not wear her hair short anymore, and she's just trying to make a solidarity pledge by having a fucking shaved head. Cool, nobody cares, dude. It's not a fucking serious condition. It sucks, it's annoying, and it's a bit of a situation where, especially in the industry that you guys are in Hollywood, it's an image industry, right? Okay, but again, just ask Cher for fucking hair care advice if you're so interested and worried about how to deal with a fucking bald head, okay? They're all wigs, you idiots. Anyways, no, this is totally the wrong way to go about it anyways, okay? Oh yeah, the joke about her is completely wrong, and I need to post it on Instagram for my millions of followers. I don't know if he has that many. I'm sure he does. It's fucking Will Smith at the end of the day. The most famous actor of the 90s, which is another reason why the 90s were such a shit fucking decade. Anyways, but something else that I was thinking about as well, it's like, okay, if this was just such a, it was just such a big hubbub between these two guys, it's like, okay, at the party afterwards, okay, like, okay, Chris didn't attend it, okay, because he just, I don't know, was fucking fed up with the situation. He went home afterwards. If there was a real problem that was there, if Will decided that he needed to milady for his wife over just the most offhanded comment in the world, and that was going to be an issue for him, have a moment afterwards, okay? You guys talk this out like men, okay? You say, hey, the thing that you said about my wife was a little bit fucked up, and I'd appreciate it if you just go apologize to her, or, you know, she's really sensitive about that, or this is a big medical condition that, you know, she doesn't want, you know, anybody to bring light to or anything like that, even though all of her public statements just kind of counteract that narrative. But instead of committing assault, you guys talk it out like two adults, even though you're trying to come to a conclusion on a third party, on a joke that was hardly a joke, but whatever. But obviously that didn't happen, and an Instagram apology needed to suffice. Here's the rest of it. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. Why didn't you do it privately? No, apparently, right, there's reports out there. Again, this gets more insane anyways. I think it was P. Diddy said that they worked it out behind the scenes. So this is PR, okay? This is written by a PR person, okay? Like, even as in touch with his emotions and emotionally in tune as Will Smith is, he wouldn't have wrote this, okay? I'd like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line, and I was wrong, Smith said in on his statement. I'm embarrassed, and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. Okay. Not the man that he is, it's just the man that I want to be. There's no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. Just a garbage fucking statement that really means nothing. I deeply regret my behavior. Oh, that my behavior has stained what has been an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us. The man I want to be, journey for all of us. Okay, cool. Again, I stand by my claim that I made during the video yesterday. He is living in a fantasy world. This is Will Smith we're talking about. He's living in a fantasy world where he wants the perfect family. But in actuality, his kids are a fucking disaster. His wife's a whore. And his fucking first son from another marriage is the only stable figure in his life. And he is doing the smart thing on this by just staying silent and just living his own fucking life, really. And in every picture that you see of that degenerate family, okay, Will is the only one who's smiling with his hands maybe around other people. Meanwhile, literally everybody else is leaning in other directions, staring off at other cameras, barely smiling or only smiling for the fucking flash, okay? And you can see that disassociation with reality with the statement, the man I want to be. Not the man that he is, okay? The man that he is, wouldn't slap anybody. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Oh, it's toxic, emotionally charged. Oh my God, I just couldn't control himself. That's not the man I want to be. You're 50-something. If you aren't the man that you want to be by that point, somebody who's worth, what, 9 digits? Okay? The man who comes home every night to somebody else, if she's there, to somebody else's seconds and thirds. Somebody else who's still in love with Tupac Shakur, 30 years after his death. Every fucking statement that Jada makes about Will Smith is always, yeah, no, he was just, he was there, or he was really like my third or fourth choice, or he was always a nice guy. Ugh, whenever you get the compliment to that, oh, he's a nice guy, you just have to know that it's fucking over, huh? But again, the closing line of the statement, I am a work in progress. That's a good statement if you know you're just trying to surmise your victories or your accomplishments, but you delivered a sissy slap and you had a spurg out on national television. I don't really know what to tell you, dude. But he has a history of throwing slaps. More justifiable slaps, if you ask me, in my opinion. Chris Rock is not Will Smith's first award show slap. This one, I'm actually gonna say is a lot more justified, okay? This isn't the first time Will Smith has slapped someone at an award show. A decade ago, he also slapped a man in the face on the red carpet for Men in Black 3. That is true, but this one's justified, okay? A video from 2012 shows Will Smith backhanding Ukrainian jokester Vitaly Saduk. Yeah, it was just a joke. It was just a joke. It's a joke. I'm starting to also see that Will Smith is also a very, very, very poor judge of humor. Anyways, who was posing as a reporter in the face. Oh, he slapped him in the face. Poorly written. While doing interviews for his movie in Moscow. Seduk, whose wild altercations with celebrities have seen him arrested or served with restraining orders. So it just goes to show you the quality of people, or the quality of person that Seduk is, okay? He's just a kooky reporter who's been arrested and served restraining orders because he's just he's just a jokester, he's the trickster. Overstepped the mark when he bizarrely reached out to kiss Smith on both cheeks, claiming that it was traditional Ukrainian greeting. No, okay, I'm part Ukrainian, okay? Proper Ukrainian greeting is slapping them on both sides of the face with a rolla kubasa, something very similar to what Will Smith also likes to see in the company of his wife. Smith is seen in the video shoving Saduk away and demanding, "What the hell's your problem, man?" before giving him a swift backhanded slap in the face. See, to me, that one's justified, though. And you can see the clip. Okay, actually, yeah, because it's there, we're just going to play it. We don't need the sound or anything like that. And as you can see, yeah, it kisses him on the cheeks. Yeah, it's what the fuck? And then just gives him, yeah, a light little love tap to the back of the hand. Or with the back of the hand to his face. It's like, you get kissed unexpectedly. I don't think that there's much to do about that, really. And it's far more justifiable, if we're being completely honest. And then there's this other story that came out as well. Will Smith taught a kid named Chris how to slap before Oscars debacle. Boy, for a guy who's a work in progress, he sure does have a long history of slapping, though. It's just a little odd. Footage obtained by TMZ. I'm sure it was public record, but whatever. A video from last year shows Oscar winner Will Smith demonstrating the art of the faux slap to a group of kids. That means that the one that he delivered to Chris Rock was fake, right? Youngster reportedly named Chris, an unfortunate coincidence, fair enough, asked Smith how he fakes fights in famous films. No, it's all real, brother. Just don't mind the stomp. Duck to follow through. Anyways, while Smith didn't actually slap this Chris, it was eerily foreboding of the series of unfortunate events that were the 94th Academy Awards. Nah, not really. He got asked a question by a random kid, and he got asked to show him, how you create the sound and you play up to the camera. Like, okay, you're a famous actor. I won't say good, but you're a famous actor, okay? How do you slap people, and how do you perform action scenes? Well, you just cup one side of the hand, or cup one side of the face, okay, and then you come across with the other, and then in a little sleight of hand at the end, okay. Instead of slapping somebody in the face, you just might graze their face a little bit, graze their nose, and then hit them at the end, and you create a little bit of noise at the end. There you go. But again, it's far more sophisticated with camera cuts, and thanks to the Bourne movies, a whole bunch of camera shake at the same time, so you get shittily shot action scenes instead of, real stuntmen fighting the fuck out of each other, which used to be good. That's why the 80s were great, and the 90s sucked dick, like Jada Pinkett Smith. So no, now you can see why this story is just going to end up dying out, but the conversation will continue, okay? Because a man who slaps another man in a public setting like that clearly has a lot of problems in their life that they need to work through themselves, okay? This wasn't about a joke, okay? This was about Will Smith living his life as a joke, doing the beta math in his head, realizing that, oh fuck, if I don't deal with this situation right now, my evening is gonna suck even more than if I go up there and confront somebody and then have to put out a shitty Instagram apology a day later. It achieved its goal, this slap, and like I said, could be worked by the Academy and the writers who attempted to provoke the situation. It could have totally been the case on that one. But if you think about glorifying and standing up for the honor of somebody who doesn't honor the relationship or honor you is good practice in a modern day relationship, somebody who wants a open relationship, sorry to bang on the same term, but they want an open commitment seemingly out of the blue, well, that's something that you fomented for a very long time, and another discussion that should be had at some point in time, because you lost the plot a long time ago, okay? It's still a bad situation for Will. He should leave that situation, but that's not his mindset. That's not who he is. He wants to be the provider. He wants to have the white picket fence. He wants to have the happy family. He wants everybody at home. He just wants to be the good man. But that's a lie that you need to keep telling yourself. And just like your job, you're just acting. You're just going through the motions at this point. And it's fucking sad to see. Everybody else knows you're Will Smith. You just should probably remember that yourself. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. Why don't you follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.